Let's try this for 7 days. Now, I want to try this for 7 days to see whether it's effective. I'm intrigued in a couple of things. One, whether it actually does what it says on the package. I don't believe in supplements. I don't believe in supplementing your normal diet for any, powders, gummy or anything. But I do believe in adding to your diet. I've just opened this. And one thing I will say is this thing, MYPROTEIN, you need to improve in terms of packaging, because that was a load of BS. The trouble I went through to find this little scoop was ridiculous. I think I poured 10% of it out because obviously I was struggling, and it's so fine of powder, it basically flies everywhere in your kitchen and it looks like you've got a weird green layer of luminescent dust all over your kitchen counter. Let's crack into this and try it. I put it into the shaker because I don't have the coffee frother, but I thought it would be interesting to see how easy it makes. Oh, that is green, but not in the green that you expect. It's frothy. Oh, the acquired taste. Strangely what it tastes like. It tastes smells like grass, kind of tastes like grass, but it has this level of creaminess. I haven't mixed it with anything but water. That's really interesting though. Okay, I'm gonna finish up here with this, see how I feel. I'm gonna take a scoop every day with some water. If I don't take it with water, I might incorporate it in my porridge or my pancake or something of that variety to see how it works. I have no hard opinion on it. It's not the most delightful thing. It's one of those things that you can overcome with practice or just having it every day. Other than that, not bad. Cheers. Okay, so day 2 of this. Day 2 drinking the Supergreen food. Today it's a bit harder to get down. It is early morning. We're I think it's 6:30 right now. It's a bit hard to get down. I don't know why. Yeah, don't like it still. It's day 3 of having the superfood blend. It's a little bit later in the evening now. It's about 8:40. Now, I had thought about just drinking it with water, but I also thought I might as well start testing with other food groups. So we're gonna be making a really straightforward recipe. It's a frozen banana ice cream. I've also frozen other fruits so that it stays cold for longer. And then I've got in my trusty NutriBullet some dates. I've got 2 dates. I pitted them just for sweetness, but also fiber. I don't want to devalue or undo the work, but to some extent just pair it and kind of make it much more easier to consume. I am thinking of changing the way I'm consuming it in the following few days, i.e. maybe drinking it hot might be a better option, or maybe it's just a matter of fact of getting the job done and shotting it in the morning so that you just don't think about it, because I know it's good for you. And weirdly enough, this might be TMI, but it was really good for my IBS, and I'm not trying to make any correlations here, but if you have IBS, it might be something helpful. I'm not sure whether it's the gut enzymes, but recently I feel like my stomach and my bloating has reduced. Also, I don't actually actively have to go to the restroom too often. It's worth thinking about. Oh, it sounds broken. It broke my machine! This powder makes everything so ugly. Okay, I'm gonna do a taste test and then we're gonna call it a night because I'm tired. Oh, it did. No, it's a bowl. Oh, cold. It's so creamy, but why? It made the smoothie super creamy. It's an ugly colour. It's made all bright things ugly. But super delicious. Oh, and the dates are coming through. Okay, good night. I'll see you on day 4. Day 4, trying the super green powder. We made a green powder pancake, which actually looks really good. It just looks like spinach pancake. I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but actually I made 10 mini pancakes. That's why it's so tiny. But I've had 2, and then I've given 2 away to my dad, for my dad to try. But there it is. Predominantly, it is the most ugliest colour. There is no way of correcting how ugly this powder is. To some extent, it being a pancake is actually quite pretty, so I'm quite glad it turned out really well. I'm almost done with the pancake. It actually looks so tiny now that I've broken it down. So I was just reading. As I was talking about like how I'm experiencing it and how I'm enjoying it and how it's actually quite effective. I'm not, obviously, no medical background. Actually, no medical background, no medical research in terms of like speaking to any professional. So I'm just going to strictly rule that out. That I'm just speaking on based on experience. Now, I have read online though, on a couple websites in terms of like side effects, reasons why some people should avoid green powders, or whether it should be consumed daily or weekly. Now, every website has different results. So on the back of that, I'm just gonna basically illustrate just a couple things about how you should digest this sort of information. The video as well, like whether you should follow it, whether you should test it, is really down to you. So first and foremost, always test anything you're consuming or putting into your body or on your body or any purpose involving your body. There are some things that should be had small amounts, small proportions, and there are some things that, you know, in life that you shouldn't have at all. It may not be for everyone. You can be allergic to the super green powder because there are some ingredients that not everyone can digest. Makes sense, that applies to everyone. The other things that I do find is the side effects I have not experienced. So one of which is obviously like being bloated, gas, or, you know, diarrhea. First and foremost, if you're experiencing diarrhea, please do not continue to experiment with it. Your body is probably not tolerating that powder. It's probably not reacting very well, and it's probably fighting something. Secondly, maybe try a different brand if you still want to, if you're adamant about having more greens or more enzymes or helping your immune system. If you're experiencing any other symptoms with its gas, bloating, or even like any skin side effects through to nausea, anything like that, obviously you're gonna have to stop. It just logically, you know, you're gonna have to stop. But if you're not and you're willing to experiment with it, be obviously optimistic in the sense of like you're expecting good results or good outcomes. However, sometimes these sort of powders do go through your body very quickly, and therefore the immediate effect may be minimal or maybe none at all. Now, it being my 4th day, it literally helped with my IBS. But saying that, if you think about it, with IBS, with anyone who's got IBS, we are very sensitive to food, so therefore we're very keen on noticing any changes or keen on making sure things can actually work for our digestion system. So saying that, like, I could say like, yeah, it's helping my IBS, but it may not help someone else. So please do experiment with it. Do your research. Also find out whether you are compatible with any of the following ingredients. There may be ingredients in there that you've had before that you know you can't have. There's no point spending the money or the time trying it. So this is day 5. We're trying MYPROTEIN Supergreen powder. Today's concoction is oat milk. It looks no different. It looks no different. Oh my god! I was right. Milk does mask the taste of it. You still get some of the hint of the herbalness. Doesn't smell at all, so it's making it easier to drink. My favourite way of getting it in. A bit bitty, but good night. Day 6. It don't smell great. It tastes great though. How strange. Weird, look at the colour. Wait, let me just wipe that. Look at that weird separation. How weird. The powder works in mysterious ways. But it's not pretty. I'll admit that. I will check in with you guys tomorrow for our last day of trying this powder. Kind of like it. This is day 7 of trying the MYPROTEIN Supergreen powder, which I finally nailed the title. So you know how I've been struggling with using this as just like a way of getting the powder out. I've thought that it might be useful to actually show you guys this. I feel like I'm not going to be the only person who's going to struggle with this. Now, this is an old MYPROTEIN, I think this was a protein powder. I've essentially washed it with hot water and then dried it and then used a paper towel to basically give it a once over so that there's no water. Because what we don't want to do is basically encourage the powder to go off or basically contaminate. But I thought this would be an easier way of getting the actual scoops out and be able to actually enjoy it without necessarily getting... I mean, I think I've lost 10% of the amount of powder I've actually purchased through the sheer extraction of this. I think this is like the worst product design I've ever seen. But if it's worked for some of you guys, then obviously leave it in the bag. I think I'm going to pour it into this bottle. I still use the same scoop. I'm not going to use the original scoop for this product because obviously the measurements would be a little bit off. And then we'll crack on with having our last one. Now, as I said earlier, I struggled drinking it with water. So I'm kind of intrigued as to whether I would enjoy it now. As I guess I'm getting a little bit more confident with it and a little bit more used to it. It'll be ideal to see whether I will still enjoy it. But here goes. Okay, so see how it is easier to grab the powder? I wiped it down because it flew out so much. But 3 scoops of this. So easy now to grab. And I don't get it on my hands. Don't start to have Hulk looking hands. I'm not going to leave this in here because I feel like I'm still going to lose it because it's so tiny. So in the sink it goes. And then I can stow it away. Anyway, oh, by the way, I got this, guys. I finally ordered one. So it's going to be so much useful than using a shaker. For today, we're just going to have it with water. I'm so excited for this now. Cheers, guys. Day 7. Maybe I have got used to it. How interesting. Now, let's just do a quick review. I just really want to run through a couple points, really. First and foremost, it's very much an individual relationship with this product. Because it depends on your health needs, right? So if you're a healthy person and you're getting everything that you need for your normal days, normal day worth of nutrients, so like, you know, for your food, whether you do take a gummy, vitamin, whatever. For me, strictly, I guess the benefits of having this drink was purely that it helped with my IBS. And I find that crazy because obviously I don't think the product was meant to be for that. I just think it was a side effect that I enjoyed, and therefore obviously a benefit for me. Now, one thing I did realize is drinking it every day may or may not be any beneficial if you skipped a day, or if you had it every other day, or you had it once or twice a week, because your nutrients doesn't work per day. I feel like that's a misconception there. I feel like if you had like vegetables every day, it would make you a healthier person compared to someone who's done 7 days worth of vegetables in 4 days. I just feel like that conception, it just feels a little bit wrong. So for me, I think with this sort of product, I think I'm going to have it like at least 2 to 3 times, if not 4 times a week, as a way of basically helping me getting enough of the nutrients into my body, but also at the same time helping with my IBS. I don't think necessarily I need it every day. It is also a very expensive product across board, so I feel like a lot of brands out there seem to be more expensive than others. The other benefits for me were purely my skin. I start to see a lot of difference with my skin in terms of less pimples. My skin color or complexion looks a lot more healthier, and I didn't feel so groggy. So every day I had it, obviously I'm comparing it on such a small scale. 7 days is such a blip in your life, but having it had made me realize how much nutrients I am lacking from my own food groups that I actually consume. So the one thing I will say is, just to wrap it up, is this is not a supplement. I really hate the word supplement because it's obviously the idea is that you're swapping it out for something else. I think this should be an additional. That's the bottom line of it. I don't think anyone should treat this as a way of basically getting out of eating your own vegetables. That's an improvement. I haven't gagged yet, but saying that, you probably will do on the first time you drink it. I also find that like people who are not familiar with eating so much vegetables in one go can find this really overwhelming, especially with spirulina, you know, that sort of dark green. People just think it tastes like grass, but when you slowly get used to it, and I think maybe start with 1 scoop and they'll build it up. I think the amount that they suggest was 3 scoops, so it's fairly moderate. It's not that crazy. We're starting to enjoy it, and through like incorporating in different foods would also help. So if you guys are interested in doing it, please do check it out on the MyProtein website. They have plenty of flavors as well. They only had the unflavorable one when I bought it. And then enjoy. I'm gonna love you and leave you. Please check out my next video. It will be about leftover dumplings. I left a bit out. Interesting.